What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. We all know that Peacekeeper Titans on an Arc subclass is extremely good. So today I wanted to take that idea but create a solar version of it. So all you're going to need is Peacekeepers and an SMG to make this work. Everything else is entirely up to you. So let's break down this subclass for you, what we're using, how I want to optimize it, and then we'll take it into some ultimate content to see how well it actually performs. Starting off, your super doesn't nearly matter as much as anything else. Hammer of Soul does do a little bit more damage than Burning Maul at base, so we're going with Hammer of Soul. Now, we're taking that idea of like ultimate damage and just the sheer destruction that Arc Titan can do and kind of flipping it with sheer survivability with the solar build. So we're going with Healing Grenade solely so we can get restoration. It's really good, and we're going to have it up extremely often with this build. Your melee doesn't matter, but we are going with Throwing Hammer because you can pretty much throw it, pick it up, throw it, pick it up, and just keep that cycle going. Now for the aspects, we're going with Roaring Flames. So final solar ability or ignitions will increase the damage of our solar abilities. Basically, it's just going to allow our hammer to do more damage over time. Then there's Soul Invictus, so our solar ability final blows, meaning our Hammer of Soul, impacts when defeating a scorched target will create the Sunspot. And basically what that's going to do is just help our abilities regenerate a little bit faster. And then when we use our super does drain more slowly, meaning more damage in our super while we're standing in that sunspot. For the fragments, we're going with Ember of Solace. So our Radiant and our Restoration effects will have an increased duration. We're going to have Radiant up all the time, as well as Restoration, providing more damage, but also more survivability. Then there's Ember of Mercy. So picking up a Fire Sprite will grant us Restoration on the off chance we don't have a grenade, but Fire Sprites also give us grenade energy. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 on this fragment. Then there's Ember of Empyrean, so solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of Restoration and Radiant. Then lastly is Ember of Tempering, so solar weapon final blows grant us increased health for a short duration. But the main reason I'm using Tempering is while it's active, our solar weapon final blows will create a Fire Sprite, meaning we'll get Restoration off of it plus grenade energy off of it. So you can see this cycle is all about creating Fire Sprites, getting Restoration, staying up Radiant, and then extending that all with our solar weapons. It's pretty good. There's a lot of options that you can do with this. Like I said, all you really do need is Peacekeepers. So while we have an SMG, it's going to have more damage, stacking up to times 20. And then when the SMG is stowed, it will auto reload the SMG over time. Mainly SMG wise, I was testing a bunch of different things. Yurtide Apex, I'm giving it a go with Demolitionist and Target Lock. That plays really well into just the damage, but also the grenade regeneration. And then there's also Teraba. If you guys don't have this raid exotic, go check out our raid guide where you can get Spoils of Conquest for free every single week as a solo player. Teraba is by far the best SMG to pair with this build because it's solar, and Ravenous Beast is actually insane when it comes to the exotic perk. But I know not everybody has this, so I want to showcase this with just a pure solar SMG. You could also, instead, if you don't have Yurtide Apex, you could use Mida Multi-Tool. I gave it a go with Attrition Orbs and Incandescent and had a lot of fun with it. And then there's also no survivors from the Ghost of the Deep Dungeon. Those are the three I would recommend. Personally, I like the Yurtide Apex because it does pair well with Demolitionist. But if you want to go into pure ad clear with Incandescent, throw on Attrition Orbs with it as well, because you don't really need Heal Clip here. This will just create Orbs of Power for your super and your surges, and then Incandescent's extremely good for just the ad clear potential. Now, we're tossing on Mint Retrograde again, because until something better comes out to replace this, it's pretty much your go-to, and it is currently farmable. And then finally, for our exotic, we're going with Finality's Augur. Again, I'd be happy to help you guys farm for this if you don't have this from the dungeon, but it just does free damage for you. But any other weapon in here is going to do extremely well. Just use whatever you guys want, because most of your damage will be coming from Yurtide Apex. And this is actually what I run when I help people do Nezarec farms for conditional finality. I do Arc Titan with Teraba as my damage option. It's actually extremely good. But let's get into the rest of the build, show you guys which one of the artifact mods we're going to take advantage of, and then show you the armor mods, and then take that into that content. Now, for the artifact, really, Flame Fiber and Freeze is really good if you're using Mint and the Solar, because it does combine Solar and Strand Siphon mods. Then we're also tossing on Threadling Proliferation, which will create Threadlings off of those Strand kills, or Strand ammo, just causing damage. Sorry, not just kills, just causing damage. Then there's Fever and Chill. This is going to be one of the ways pretty much our best way to get radiant is by rapid precision hits or rapid solar kills will grant us radiant, and then we can extend that just by continually getting kills. Then there's also elemental benevolence. This is if we're playing with a fire team. So when we use our grenade and we give them a buff, it gives us class ability energy. Cauterized darkness is there if you're playing again with people that are using stasis or strand, because it'll take increased solar damage. Then there is also going to be radiant shrapnel. So since we're going to be radiant all the time, we might as well take advantage of that radiant shrapnel perk, which is just going to emit those little pew-pews, you know, that scorch people. And then of course, shield crush, since we're going to be radiant often, it's just going to help us recharge our grenade faster. Now we are opting to build heavily into the weapon stat here because that is our primary focus. Get that up as high as you possibly can. And then I focus on grenade and super right after that. Melee is not as important because remember, you can pick your melee back up by throwing it. Anything else here is just going to increase the damage of it rather than the ability regen's not too important. For the armor mods though, we are going with a super font mod. So our super is over 100 when we have a orb of power or that armor charge. The solar and strand dual siphon mod, then a harmonic siphon mod. So we just can create as many orbs of power as possible with our SMG. For the gauntlets, I'm tossing on a solar loader solely because I want to reload fast. And if I'm using this against a chunky target, I want to get my reload up as quick as possible. Then we're also using focusing strike since our class ability is so low. It grants class ability energy when we cause damage with our melee. And again, that's going to be pretty often. And then heavy-handed to create a orb of power off of those melee kills. Chest piece, resistance mods matching whatever activity you're going into. Then we're tossing on a solar ammo mod. So our primary does generate more special and heavy ammo. For the legs though, we are doing 2 solar surge mods. I was testing this out between these and weapon font mods, and the surge mods are actually a little bit better, which just will give you more damage by picking up orbs of power for our primary weapon. Then a better already, so our health begins to regenerate immediately upon picking up an orb. This one isn't necessary. You could easily slot on something like invigoration, innervation, or even insulation. Any of those are going to work really well, just kind of personal preference on that point. Class ability wise though, I want to have my armor charges up as much as possible. So we're going with time dilation to have a longer duration for that. Then Reaper, so when we cast our class ability, get our weapon kill, creates an orb of power. Then Powerful Attraction will pick up any orb upon casting our barricade that is within that 12-meter range. So that's kind of the full build. I hope you can see how we took the idea of what the solar just subclass can do in comparison to what its arc counterpart does already. So the arc obviously has bolt charge, does insane damage with an SMG and peacekeepers, but I wanted to take that just one step in a different direction, toss it on solar, and really build heavily into not just the damage synergy here, but also the ability to have radiant up extremely often, as well as constantly having restoration as well. So let's take this into some negative content and see how well it actually performs. Dude, if it gives me precision kills, so sad. Every time I do conflicts here, oh, it's ability takedowns. That's not as bad. I was doing this yesterday just to test out these builds, and it was ability kill or precision, precision, precision every single time I tried it. So basically we want to throw a grenade and just keep getting weapon defeats. And it's nice that we have target lock, we have demolitionist to proc, creating fire sprites gives us our grenade back even faster. So I mean, we got 3-4 kills there, and our grenade's already halfway back, almost full right there. We'll pick that up in a second. And there we pick our melee back up. Let's get some heavy ammo. So right there, it's easy. We already have 3 armor charges. We still have restoration, which gives our solar weapon the 2x surge. And let's just toss on restoration to reset it. And every time we get our solar kills here, it is going to just reset and give us a little bit longer to restoration. And once we get those multi-kills, there's 15 seconds of radiant, giving us a 20% damage boost. Our grenade's going to be back again, which will help reset radiant or restoration. And let's just toss this for fun. Also, if you miss too, you get your grenade back or your melee back pretty quick also. Super's already there. I will say target lock is really nice if I could hit my shots all the time. It does a chunky amount of damage. And we do have Temporal Blast on here as well for the weapon mod. which I think is still worth it to use on SMGs. It still does a pretty good job. But I feel like going into like -30 content like Ultimate, it's not as difficult as it used to be. And having a build where your primary can just do so much more damage makes things so much easier too. Because then you're not relying on chunky target defeats with like special weapons or your heavy weapon as well. That's one of the biggest gripes about primary weapons in general. Even with good damage perks, they can feel really, really lackluster at the end of the day in any type of in-game content. So it's nice to be able to put a build that focuses on primary weapon use. Oh, and we create fire sprites regardless of weapon type defeats. Take care of that Bane extremely fast. So going into 3 armor charges, Roaring Flames ×3, so our melee is going to do more damage. And we missed. It's okay, we got to try though, right? I don't know why I threw my grenade at you, but thank you. And we can just keep doing that. So we almost got our melee back when we picked it back up. We're slightly low on the stat side, but that's okay. Not too concerned about it. This thing just chunks targets. And like, if you have Teraba, please give it a go with Teraba. You will absolutely fall in love with it. It is an insane combination. But I mean, the rewind target lock raid weapon is definitely your best pick. If the arc one for arc setups, but not everyone has done that raid. So I wanted to create something that anyone can do, regardless of if they've done any in-game activity like the raids. Just every time we get a kill, it resets our restoration, resets our radiant. This will take care of champions as well. Stun him real quick. And he's dead. Easy. And now we can just use our mint to kill this little bubble. Rewind rounds does not proc on this. Ooh, hold on. I can actually shoot this from over here. Let's do that. Oh, I didn't make it in time. That's a cool trick. You guys can shoot it from both sides if you have enough time left. So we ran out of everything, so let's toss this down. And just constantly just regenerating health right there is extremely helpful. Dead. Have I even seen a boss on this one? No? Where's the boss? Reset restoration going into this. Kill that guy. Perfect. Let's get a hat for a little buff. Why not? And we'll take care of that champion real fast. Easy. I'm not going to get the ability final blows. I'll pop my super and we'll just try to get as many as we can going into the next encounter. As in the boss. Oh, there's 2 bosses. Okay. We'll just use this until, because there's no ads. I really think hammers, or like solar needs a buff, for sure. Okay, let's do this real quick. And then we're just going to use our SMG. Let's get that for another armor charge for the second surge. Just in case. Oh, okay. Now we're just going to use that. It just does so much damage in such a little amount of time. Huge fan of Peacekeeper setup. We almost have our super back too. That's crazy. And this boss is going to get cooked. Okay, there's some ads here. We have no ability kills. It's fine. Let's do that real quick, and then we'll just kill him with this. Easy. Yeah, I feel like -30 content isn't hard enough for some of these activities. But I don't know. Dude, we didn't do the objective, right? So we got no tier 5s. Solid. Thanks, Bungie. Anyways, that's the solar version of the Peacekeeper build. If you guys want to check it out, there will be a dim link down below. Please come by our Discord if you want help farming for Spoils of Conquest or any other in-game weapon. We'd be happy to try to help you guys out. Link for that is also down below. But as always, thank you guys so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.